You are watching the Fayetteville Government Channel. Up next, full coverage of the latest meeting of the Telecommunications Board. The Telecommunications Board is composed of citizen volunteers and meets on the third Thursday of each month. This board advises the City Council regarding telecommunications issues and assists city staff with the administration of the city's public access, education, and government television channels. And now, the Telecommunications Board.
I'm good.
All right. Glad to call the January 17, 2013 meeting of the Fayetteville Telecommunications Board to order. First, we'll do a roll call. Mr. Spencer?
Here.
Mr. Ehrig?
Here.
Mr. Goggins?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Spearman emailed us and said that he's delayed in somewhere in the southeast United States with bad weather. I am here, and Mr. Shepard will probably join us shortly. We'll move into approval of the December meeting minutes. If everybody's had a chance to look at those.
Not only do I find them wonderful and in order, but so thorough that you wouldn't even have to be here.
Very thorough.
Yes. I move that we approve.
Second.
On motion by Mr. Ehrig and a second by Mr. Smith. All those in favor of approving the December meeting minutes say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. The ayes have it. We'll move into approval of tonight's agenda. Pretty short one, maybe.
I move we approve it. Second.
On motion by Mr. Ehrig and second by Mr. Spencer to approve tonight's agenda.
Object.
Object.
Sort of have a committee report.
Okay.
It hadn't met, but I want to talk about
Okay.
the committee.
Will the board consent to the addition of his committee report?
Oh, I don't know.
I'll
I
add,
would, yes.
by the consent of the board, we'll add that. So all those in favor of the amended agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The ayes have it. I'll move first into the Television Center Manager report. Mr. Giesler.
Thank you. Good evening, gentlemen. We've had, December was a very interesting month. A lot was going on, a lot more than we expected, and we probably crammed 45 days worth of work into 2.5 weeks because of the holiday and everything, but we got through it all, and everybody's in a whole lot in great shape because of it. Mr. Shepard's just joined us. As I usually do, I'm just including the viewership numbers for Granicus and YouTube, which we can pull for December. A couple of highlights I want to point out. On Granicus, of course, as you know, we keep our meeting stuff on Granicus video on demand service. Significant number of views for the Advertising and Promotion Commission meeting on December 12th. And I personally really love to see those things like that because that shows two things. Number one, that our citizens and our viewers are engaged in issues that are important to them, and they're utilizing what we do in our service to help them be engaged in the operation and activities of their government. So that shows us that. We had a total of 617 viewers of different things from the Granicus Video on Demand service. On YouTube, I'm going to point out again, I think I pointed this out last month, but I'm going to say again that they've added a metric on here which is interesting, 1,626 estimated minutes watched. So not just how many people clicked on a video and viewed part of that video, but how many total minutes were watched on that service. And one of the things that we really like about YouTube is that it gives us an opportunity to display some of our video in HD, but it also doesn't cost us anything. Dr. Smith?
Point of information. I was pleased to see and have enjoyed the volunteer spotlight on Aubrey Shepard, who's also a member of this commission. I'm just surprised that it's only ranked number 4 in viewership, and I thought it would be much higher than that.
We like to, one of the things that we do on the government channel is we do highlight volunteers that provide service for our great community. And as Dr. Smith pointed out, Mr. Shepard is our current person in the volunteer spotlight. We look forward to producing those. We produce one of those about every month or so to highlight a new volunteer in Fayetteville. And the other thing that I really liked was that the how to drive a roundabout video piece that we did has had quite a bit of viewership, and it's very short, very to the point, and has lots of great tips, and so people have an opportunity to get some information about that. Other than that, the views are holding fairly steady, average throughout from month to month on that. One of the other things that happened in December that we worked very hard on, and I'm going to continue to update you as the months go by. As we've spoken about earlier last year, we use Granicus Incorporated as a company that is out in California, and they are focused on providing citizen engagement and video services for governments. That's all they do, is they work with city, county, municipal, federal government, and lots of entities around the country. We have been a customer, and Granicus has provided services for the city since 2008, for about 5 years. The level of service that we've gotten from them has been, their service is great. We have not updated it since we originally started with them in 2008. So what you see on the view page and what you see streaming has not been updated since then. The City Council in December approved the contract for us to improve, upgrade, and expand the Granicus services. So one of the things that you're going to see the government channel become much more involved in is citizen engagement for agenda management and greater opportunities for the public and the staff to have greater access to agenda information as we go forward with this project. It's going to take approximately 4 months to implement. And we are going to do the first part of it next week. And what we will be doing next week is installing the hardware portion of the upgrades, which are going to be installed in the television center. And when that comes online, the last week of January, we will see immediate and significant improvement in the video quality of the live stream that the government channel has, and also we will going forward, everything from that point forward will be downloadable to mobile devices, which is a challenge right now. You can't download one of our Granicus meetings to an iPad or an Android device. We'll be changing our video format so that will be available. And then later in the year, we're hoping that we'll be able to take the next step, which will allow actual live streaming to mobile devices before the end of 2013. So we're planning these things go in phases. And then the other part of the upgrade, excuse me, is going to entail putting into place a system that will essentially take agenda management for the City Council and all the other boards and commissions in the city off of paper. And the agenda management, agenda items will become paperless. That doesn't mean that people can't get a paper copy of an agenda, but from our processes, that will all go digital and will be seamlessly integrated into the Granicus services that we have now, that will continue to allow people to pull up an agenda, click an item in the agenda, jump the video directly to that item. Minutes creation is going to become more streamlined, and it's going to save the city a significant amount in terms of labor hours, and make that whole process much more efficient for city staff and the public to be able to find items and get the information that they want. So we're really excited about being involved in that. And that's going to, right now, our planned implementation is the end of April for that project. And I'll keep everybody updated on where we are with that as we go forward. But a lot of behind the scenes stuff has to be done, a lot of building of the infrastructure before we get to roll that out. But we're really excited about being involved in that. And I actually have an item on the agenda to talk specifically about our open house celebration later in the meeting, so I'll leave that till then. Does anybody have any other questions about where things are?
I just had a comment. I think it's wonderful that we've got an administration that keeps moving towards accessibility to the citizens of Fayetteville and you know, the public in general. And we're very lucky to have a city council that is supportive of that idea.
Very supportive. The one thing that I did not specifically mention, and I think at this point in time, because it's been so long since we've had any, going forward, I will not specifically mention anything about complaints unless we get one. So you can assume that we haven't had any unless I specifically bring it up.
Okay.
Good, very good.
Nothing else, we'll move on to our year-end report from Dan Robinson from Public Access.
Good evening, gentlemen. Happy New Year to you all. 2012 has been a year of building and fortifying the facility, services, and working relationship at the City of Fayetteville Television Center. This work prepares us to offer a new level of service, relevance, and professionalism to our users in 2013. 2012 has seen unprecedented changes in the physical plan, which was a significant undertaking. The city staff designed and implemented these exciting changes with the utmost professionalism. During their work, Your Media, as the service provider, worked diligently to facilitate the use of the resources that were available and continue the excellence and growth in our educational programs in preparation for the new capabilities of the facility. Considering the radical structural and organizational changes that occurred in the previous 2 years, 2012 was the first year of organizational consistency in which the dust could settle. With the newly established positive working relationships, the Television Center has become a welcome and accommodating public service. It has also provided us the opportunity to better assess the services provided with the goal of always seeking ways to improve them. The end of 2012 celebrated the completion of the renovations to the Television Center and a transition in leadership for Your Media. Ann Shelley stepped down as the executive director, and with the assistance of the Your Media Board, brought in myself, Dan Robinson, as her successor. Ann showed incredible leadership and fortitude in helping save the relationship between the city and the organization working as its public access television service provider. She then paved the way for the organization and its relationship with the city to be able to grow to be stronger and more effective than ever in its history. Ann's work, with the invaluable assistance and leadership of the manager of media services, Fritz Giesler, was a true testament to their vision and dedication to this service and what it offers the citizens of Fayetteville. It is a privilege to have the opportunity to build on the foundation that they so diligently prepared. With the advent of the new leadership came a new level of outreach through social media. November and December saw an exponential increase of information and public outreach on Facebook, and as a result, increased traffic on the website and a new awareness of the services offered. We believe this new form of outreach will produce a new user base in the year to come. Fayetteville Public Access Television is an incredible resource that Fayetteville residents have the opportunity to utilize thanks to the patient and progressive leadership of city staff, the services provided by Your Media, and the guidance and support of this telecommunications board. With the new professional facilities, expanded services, and 21st century marketing strategies, this station continues to lead the state in providing a resource to exercise our precious First Amendment rights. In conclusion, I'd like to say that 2012 was a truly successful year in that it has strengthened the established relationship between the city, the service provider, and the users. Fritz and Ann set up systems to help understand the nature of the needs of the users and to ensure that we are meeting those needs to the best of our ability. These have proven effective as they were able to provide the data necessary to make the modifications made possible in the newly approved 2013 contract. These will streamline our cataloging and serving our users while offering them a new level of professional training and service. We are deeply grateful for the leadership and support of Fritz Giesler, Lindsley Smith, and this esteemed telecommunications board and the city council of our great city. Your Media is honored to have the privilege to be the service provider of Fayetteville Public Access Television, and we are looking forward to a year of continued growth and success. Very good.
Questions?
Just a suggestion, Mr. Chairman, I might take this report and the one presented from the Television Center last month and put a nice cover letter on it.
Mhm.
Consider that our annual report.
I think I'm gonna have to add a little bit more, but yes, I will definitely be doing that. And I meant to add that, at least as a comment, that now that we've gotten the public access report, I can submit our annual report to the city council.
It's very exciting. I can tell you now, having completed 60 days, being in my third month, it's exciting to come to work every day. It's exciting to be in the Television Center. Spoiler alert, January numbers are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
We have had lots of traffic just across the board.
Yep.
So with the holidays and the weather of November and December, the numbers definitely do go down. But here in January, the sun has definitely come out over the Television Center. And we are having a great time fielding the new people taking classes, new people doing short takes. It's a lot of fresh faces at the Television Center.
I'm seeing y'all pop up on Facebook more often too.
And we're very excited about the open house, which I will save for the time that it's on the agenda.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Robinson?
I'm moved to accept this very fine report.
All right.
Commend Mr. Robinson on his outstanding work. Best wishes for the new year.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
So on motion and a second that we accept the year-end report from Public Access Television, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it unanimously. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
We will move on to new business, and Mr. Giesler is going to share with us about the new open house.
I am. On January 31st, Thursday, at 4:30, we will be opening the doors of the City of Fayetteville Television Center to celebrate the renovations that have been done, and also celebrate and commemorate 20 years of city-sponsored access television in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It was in the early 90s, and specifically based on what I've been able to find in terms of records and things like that, and reading documents that I've been able to find, there was a transitionary period in the early 90s, 1990, 1991, 1992, but the facility itself was established in 1992, and there was a transition period between what was before in terms of public access, but that was also in the time when the City of Fayetteville decided that it was appropriate for city funds to be spent to support public access television services. And so we're very proud to be able to say that while public access television has been very vital and has existed in Fayetteville since 1980, in 1992 the city came on board and said we should help support this financially. And that was also when the city established the government channel and hired city staff to operate the government channel as a separate entity from public access. So we're commemorating several things on that day. We're also going to have some special announcements of things that I am going to basically say, if you want to find out, you got to be there. Or watch on television, because we will be telecasting this live on the public access television channel. But I will give you a hint that it will entail some exciting opportunities for public access to programming producers, and some exciting future plans for the facility, the government channel, and public access television as well. But we're very proud of the foundation and the history of what we have, and we also want to look forward into the future of where we're going to go in the next 20 years. Because I strongly believe that we have the will in this community and the support of the community to continue to be the kind of information resource and resource for the residents of this great city to utilize, and that they're going to want this, despite changes in technology, despite changes in how we communicate. There's always going to be a place for open and transparent government. There's always going to be a place for people to get involved with their government and get involved with each other through media production and access television. I know that's not real specific, but if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
I'm gonna send an FOI request and find out what it is.
Here's the press release.
On Elvis's birthday, I noticed you sent that.
Are you going to telecast it on government channel or just public access?
At this point in time, we're just going to telecast it on the public access channel.
Okay.
But we will have some entertainment from some very well, highly regarded local musicians in the studio. We'll have some for refreshments, and we're going to try to have some dignitaries that would like to make an appearance, but our good mayor will be there, and I'll get to say a few words, and Dan will get to make a couple of announcements. And we think it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, the one thing that I will encourage anybody who's watching this meeting right now, and anybody that we talk to, and I would strongly encourage all of you, please promote this and encourage people to come and be a part of it. It'll be from 4:30 to 7. At 4:30, we're going to open the doors and have some time to talk to people and just interact. At 5:15, we will be making announcements, and that's when we will have the rededication of the television center. And then from 5:30 to 7, self-guided tours where people will be able to go throughout the television center facility, and we'll have information there for them so they can get a really good idea of what these spaces are, what they do, what their function is, and how they can be a part of what's going on there. So that's the plan for the afternoon and the evening. So we will telecast from the studio. We'll be telecasting the musical entertainment, and we will also telecast and record the announcements and the presentation and rededication.
Awesome.
Is it on community links so we can share it on Facebook?
I don't know.
We need a Facebook
I'll double
event.
check with DD.
Yeah.
I believe it is, but let me think. No, I can
But
say
it
for
will
sure
be.
it is, because I saw her look at that this morning, and or this afternoon, and it was at the top up there.
And the other question, has the government channel always been in that building since it was
Yes,
instituted?
yes. Now, some government meetings were covered by the previous public access operator, Fayetteville Open Channel. And there was a period of time of transition when the government channel was a channel on the cable system, but the city staff had not been hired yet to operate the government channel. And so the city actually worked with the existing volunteers and people that were working with public access at that time to continue to telecast city. It was actually the board of directors at that time. That was a previous form of government.
They were also worked against public access to keep them from filming meetings.
They were not, yeah. So it was,
Glad that's past us.
I'm glad that's been past us for a long time.
Very interesting history.
Now,
Oh, go ahead.
back up out of order and just ask Mr. Robinson if there are any complaints.
There were not. And actually, a point of note is that 2012 was a year without a written complaint. We've had, some light suggestions and a whole lot of compliments, but never an official. This is the first year on record where we have not had a complaint, which we're very happy about. Seems like the users have been very happy.
I have a hearsay complaint that I'll just share for the record, since it wasn't made to me, but I understand that Professor Marty at the university has complained numerous times about Cox Cable's emergency warning system or something. Comes on and says it's a warning, but there's no copy or anything.
No message.
No message. And as I understand it, that's not within purview of the franchise.
The information I have regarding that may have been from a different source, but it was my understanding that an EAS message, emergency alert system message, came on Cox. There was no information associated with it, but it was also during the time when we were having some very bad weather, and nobody could switch to even a local channel to see, because when the EAS system activates on the cable system, it wipes all the channels out. It supersedes all of them. I know they run tests at times, which they're required to do, but those are short, and so it's my understanding that has been referred to the people at Cox to take a look at it.
I only brought it up in case anybody watching this meeting ever gets us into the top 10. No, it's not something we're unaware of or have ignored. Something we don't have the authority
Mr.
to fix the
Chairman,
franchise.
there was an instance of agenda sessions held in this room, and I believe it was 2 weeks back, anyway, the first agenda session or the second of the year. The meeting got cut off before it was completed. I was watching it from home, but I think a couple of weeks later, nearly, I looked at Granicus, it appeared maybe it was all recorded, and it was just a glitch with the switcher.
That's very possible. I'll follow up on that. They're usually what we will do with the telecast system is, because agenda sessions are typically less than 2 hours long, and I can't say this for sure in terms of what the timing was because I haven't looked at it specifically, but because of that, there might have been a situation where the system had been already programmed to switch to the next event, and it was a glitch in that system. The recording is done in a different manner. It doesn't record exactly what goes out over the air. So we have separate signal paths and stuff for that, so that would help that. The other thing that we do have to deal with sometimes and is that sometimes you have months that have 4 Tuesdays, and sometimes you have months that have 5 Tuesdays. And so the agenda sessions are on the first on the second and last Tuesday of the month. So in terms of adjusting our schedules and stuff, that sometimes we have to really stay on our toes with it sometimes. So I apologize for any inconvenience that may have caused.
I was afraid people might have missed it.
Right.
But I think it was recorded when I tried to, you go back and forth on the little stick and try to find places on Granicus. You can't do it.
And that should get better.
That
soon.
would be nice.
Yeah.
'Cause a lot of people like to, I don't want to hear about the dogs and cats,
Right.
but I want to hear about the budget.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Any other questions? All right, we'll move on to committee reports. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move we go into committee of the whole. I think it'll save us time and make sure we're compliant with regular information.
You're gonna have to remind me about that.
I move we go into committee of the whole. I want.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Is that a debatable motion?
It's not actually.
All right, all those in favor of moving into a committee of the whole, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? The ayes have it.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, call to order the meeting of the committee on FM, low power FM we discussed. Have not called a meeting before this. Sort of watching what's going on with the local operation, and I think they're moving forward on that. Joe Newman and the folks at Omni have set up a studio and are getting ready for I believe it's October for the filing of the application. And then depending on how many they get, either they get one or it goes into a lottery, I believe is the way it works on that. Sort of the reason that we were forming this committee was to see if there's anything we could do, or if there was a reason to have the city become involved in it. Just preliminary, I've been unable to find any other cities that are actually doing a local hour FM station. Part of that just because of the cost and personnel, I think. So my sort of recommendation at this time is just to sit and watch and see how we can be helpful with what's going on. And possibly, you know, if the city has use for it through emergency broadcast or other things, that time would be available to use a private licensee on that. It's apparently going to be sort of like a public access approach, where anybody wants to can have a program on it and do whatever you want. So I would move that we not have any meetings for a while and just sort of observe that situation and see how we might be helpful.
Well, if I may, Mr. Chairman, I'm pretty sure Mr. Smith is doing more monitoring of what is going on than anybody else in this group, so I would take his advice on this. And, but I would, you know, I read some of the email we get from Mr. Newman and so forth, and so maybe others who are interested would want to get on his list if they're not.
Yeah, he also has a Facebook page.
Oh, yeah. Well, I only open Facebook when something on my email tells me
Yeah.
to, you know, and that's a lot of things.
Anyway, I'm excited about some of the stuff they're doing, and so I just move that we. I would suggest that we not have another meeting for a while unless it looks like a way for us to be a positive force.
Okay. I think that's fine. I think we can leave the committee intact, and you as chairman can call any meetings that you think are appropriate.
Don't think I'm derelict for not calling on it. Maybe there's no business, but I'd move we rise and report progress.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Smith.
That's the end of the committee meeting.
All right. Anything else committee-wise or announcement-wise?
Do you need any help with the report?
I will prepare a report, email it out to the board, and if you've got suggestions, additions, anything like that, just email me back, and I'll resubmit a final draft before I send it on to the city council, the city clerk and the city council.
Ought to be a very positive report.
It's going to look like a very good report, much like last year. This one should be even better.
I would strongly encourage anyone who has never been to the television center to please come and see what a great resource that the city provides the residents of Fayetteville. I would also strongly encourage and very nicely ask if you've been to the television center but you haven't been there in quite some time, please come down and see it. We've made some tremendous changes in the physical facility and the classes that are now offered, the opportunities for people to be involved. And I think that anybody's perception of that operation that was formed 5 or 6 years ago would be totally different than what they would ever thought that it would have been. So please come and see us on Thursday, January 31st.
All right. I think we can end on that. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned.